Yes, ma'am.
We'll start the session, sir.
Okay. I record.
Balaji, sir, the participants is 54. Shall we wait or shall start, sir?
We wait for a few minutes.
Okay. We will wait. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Balaji, sir. Balaji, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll start the session, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon to everybody. For this session 11, I would like to welcome our speaker, Mr. Karthikeyan, co-founder and CTO, R&D and NPD in Electrical Vehicles Green Sign Technologies Private Limited, Bangalore. So a few words about Mr. Karthikeyan. Mr. Karthikeyan has 14 years of experience in the core domain expertise in developing embedded technology products and as well as solutions for automotive domain. He was instrumental in designing the car infotainment for Honda, new charger technology and vehicle architecture for Green Design. He holds a degree in electrical engineering and his master's in power electronics and drives from College of Engineering, Anna University. Karthik, before starting up this Greenstein Technologies, he worked in TCS and Wipro. So he has contributed so many things in this field and uh, and has exposed his innovations or contributions in YouTube in several aspects. I am very proud to introduce our speaker here, Mr. Karthikeyan. You can start your session, sir, please.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Right. Okay. Am I audible? Before I start talking, I just want to check.
Audible. Karthik, audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So, the topic given to me today is propagation of automobile industry and its remedies. I don't want to get into the discussion about the topic immediately. I just want to have some introduction about green design and what did we do in green design, and slowly move into the topic. So I had put a basic agenda for today's presentation, introduction, and how Indian automotive industry is currently looking at adoption of new technologies. There is something called the Paris Agreement, which I think very relevant to today's topic. Then changes in automotive industry, global and local. Then driving factors for EV adoption. In that, there are 4 topics which I will explain in the slides. An adoption of EVs in India and role of academia, which I feel is important for adoption of electric vehicles in India. So in between, you can stop me to ask questions. I am perfectly fine to answer. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Right. Okay. Let me start with the introduction through a video. This is our corporate video. I will just play it. Post that I will talk about who we are.
So sound not audible.
Sorry?
Sound is not audible from that video.
Okay. I don't know how to enable that sound. Any idea? How do I enable
in
that?
share we have include computer sound in share. At the
Okay,
time
let
of
me
time you have
check.
to switch on the include sound, computer sound.
Okay. I will first stop sharing.
And share and share again.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You
I got
share,
it.
you include a computer sound.
Sure. So, is it audible now?
Yeah, sir. It's audible.
Innovation is a continuous process of creativity. Embracing green design is like embracing the culture of innovation. Hirway is a revolutionary electric vehicle platform focused on developing green personal mobility vehicles. In about a year's time, we have launched 3 new e-bikes and filed 7 patents.
Sorry, I think in between there is some internet issue. Yeah.
Our mission is to make electric vehicles the preferred choice of mobility. Our focus remains on inventing electric mobility solutions that embrace the future.
Right. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Green Design, we are electric vehicle company. We are a bunch of crazy embedded systems plus power electronics plus mechanical plus software engineers who have started Green Design in 2015, and we are crazy on designing multiple products and making it run and sell it to customers. Though we have not created a mass market product still, our aim is to make an electric vehicle which can be adopted by every Indian, right? So by right, okay. So in this journey, we have launched several products. We have designed almost some till today. We have designed almost 12 products in multiple industries. And the last product we have designed this Quark EV, which is an on-road electric vehicle, which is yet to hit the market in another 6 to 7 months. So before that, we developed products for in-campus mobility, like resorts, amusement parks, and places where vehicle is used for sports and entertainment purpose. That's Irway EV. And parallelly, we have also developed products for industrial mobility, like Amazon, Flipkart, and Big Basket are our customers. They use our vehicles within their warehouse to move around and pick material necessary to be dispatched. So we have 3 business units as I explained now, and you can expect an electric two-wheeler soon in the market from our company. So about myself, as Dr. Maruti mentioned, I'm from a power electronics background. I'm one of the founders of Green Design Technologies. And I have 14 years of experience, worked in automotive companies like Honda, Panasonic, to develop body electronics as well as some power systems which were used in IC engines. Right. Okay. We'll move on to the next topic. So I want to broadly cover about how automotive industry in India looks like. So automotive industry provides direct employment of 13 lakhs people in India, which is much lesser compared to Europe. But for India, it is a huge amount of employment which it generates, and 8% of GDP share is something which makes automotive industry very lucrative, as well as any policies made by government is made considering automotive as one of the core industries in which the policies will act and have an effect. So every year there are 2 crores IC engine vehicles sold in India, and in that 80% is two-wheelers, and rest of the 20% is car and trucks and autos. And there is a huge export market for automotive industry in India. 30% of global small cars are getting manufactured in India. So you would see, big manufacturing facilities in Chennai. Bangalore has good manufacturing facilities for Toyota, and other car manufacturers. There is a new car manufacturing facility coming up in Bangalore for electric vehicles, and obviously Pune is the hub for automotive. So Indian automotive industry is not an ignorable industry at all. I mean, it has given opportunities for most of the engineers which were generated by academia. And obviously, I would also mention that last year, automotive sales has been record high. It was very surprising for everybody in the industry because COVID has hit us. Everybody thought that nobody will buy vehicles, but last year was a record high sales for two-wheelers as well as cars. Okay. So in this sequence of slides, I definitely wanted to add something called the Paris Agreement. Paris Agreement is a kind of leapfrog decision which was agreed by 195 nations in 2015, which is having a severe impact on how automotive industry thinks and works. Right. So I would like to play this video for you to understand what this Paris Agreement is and how, as academia, you can support the nations to achieve this Paris Agreement in future.
What is the Paris Agreement? The Paris Agreement is a legally binding international treaty on climate change to limit global warming to well below 2, preferably to 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. This requires economic and social transformation to face the climate challenges now and moving into the future based on the best available science. The Paris Agreement works on a 5-year cycle of increasingly ambitious climate action. By 2020, countries communicate their plans known as nationally determined contributions. Countries communicate actions they will take to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions in order to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement. Countries also communicate actions they will take to build resilience to adapt to the impacts of rising temperatures. This may include information on adaptation and finance flows. The Paris Agreement also provides a framework for financial, technical, and capacity building support to those countries who need it. Starting in 2024, countries report transparently on actions taken. Collective progress under the Paris Agreement will be assessed through a global stocktake. This will lead to recommendations for countries to set more ambitious plans in the next round.
Okay. So what does
Countries
Paris
communicate actions.
What does Paris Agreement say? All countries in 2015 agreed that they will take necessary actions to reduce carbon emission, CO2 emission, right? And it has been agreed that the global warming level has to be brought down to 1.5. That's.
Sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this Paris Treaty is same as the Kyoto. Is similar to Kyoto Protocol.
Come again. Which protocol?
Kyoto. KYOTO.
I will have to still do some research on that. I cannot comment on that as of now.
Okay.
So what do you mean? I mean, have you gone through that, and what does it say?
So it talks about carbon emissions, carbon credits.
Okay, and the nations have agreed to implement it.
So that is excluding USA. Rest of around 11 countries are there.
Okay. Yeah, it might be a subset of the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement
that is carbon footprints.
Okay. Sorry, sir. That's carbon footprint. This is CO2 emission, especially related to greenhouse gas emissions.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this Paris Agreement has a huge impact on how industries are currently manufacturing components, as well as how industries will design products which can emit less carbon, less CO2, right? Okay, okay. So this has happened in 2015, and the plan for Paris Agreement is every 5 years, all countries have to meet on the steps they have taken to reduce CO2, right? If you have observed in newspapers and some articles written in last 5 years, you would have you will be clearly able to correlate the policies Indian government and any other government is framing towards industries, as well as especially manufacturing industries, as well as to people who are using material which emits CO2, especially two-wheelers, four-wheelers, and buses, right? And this has a huge impact in the cost involved in manufacturing the vehicles as well. So let's see how, how this Paris Agreement changed the thought process of automotive industry, right? So again, any change which is induced by any policy has a huge resistance, right? Because for I would say last 1 century, an industry like automotive has been working in a certain way. Suddenly, if all nations say you will have to start thinking about reducing the CO2 emission, then there will be a huge resistance, because it employs almost in India at least 13 lakh people, right? So the industries would have invested a lot of money in manufacturing facilities. So if they think about return on investment they have made, they would always resist any changes which is imposed by government, right? But in this case, since it is a global agreement, all automotive companies started taking this seriously. And from 2015 to 2020, especially up to last year, there has been very big change in their thought process. I have listed down major 3 statements which I feel is very impactful for somebody like like me, to understand how things are going serious with respect to CO2 emission, right? Ford has uh, has mentioned that 40% of their global vehicle volume to be fully electric by 2030. And Volvo has already committed that by 2030, all their vehicles they are going to sell will be electric. And I'm not sure whether you have seen the latest advertisement of Volvo cars. They have, it's about testing a Volvo car for safety, and all of us know Volvo is meant for providing safe cars as well as buses, right? Safety is their go-to-market strategy. And in the recent advertisements, they have shown that while testing the car, how do they give importance to safety to the driver, right? And what test they do in that, the last scene ends with they testing the vehicle in a place where there is a mountain of snow, right? And ice, as well as it is a kind of water body, right? And when they finish the testing, there is a big chunk of ice which falls into the water. That says that there is an increase in global warming. So the test engineer finishes the advertisement saying, more than safety, we should look into global warming. So we are going to make sure by 2030, all our vehicles are electric, right? So I'm not able to find the link. I saw this advertisement in TV in last 1 or 2 weeks. So if you get I hope you will also get a chance to see that advertisement, which is very impactful, right? Third, about India. So Indian government has taken an ambitious target of by 2030, all the vehicles, sorry, 30% of vehicles sold in India should be electric, which is uh, um, which is definitely ambitious because Indian automotive industry is always lagging behind global automotive industry with respect to technology adoption, right? And any new change in technology is taken into account in India after 10 years of adoption in Western or Eastern countries, like Japan, right? So you, for a good example to this is telematics. So telematics is nothing but every car should have a mobile connectivity, and all safety related information which car can collect has to go to a common server which can be accessed by insurance companies, as well as it can raise a SOS call to ambulance and nearby hospitals based on its location and based on the severity of accident, which is detected automatically by the car, right? So telematics is is a technology which has been adapted in Western countries in 20, I would say 2007, right? They have a law that all cars should have telematics unit installed from 2007. Whereas in India, still there is no law saying that telematics has to be mandatory in the car, right? Which is actually a safety protocol which has to be followed. So you would understand the, lag in adoption of any new technology in automotive industry, right? There might be multiple reasons. One such reason could be India is very cost sensitive. Indian market is very cost sensitive, and user might not pay for additional additional features. Rather than they would pay for the brand, and they would probably pay for the performance of engine and how much mileage it gives, right? So, but things are slightly changing nowadays. People have more money to spend on additional features which can provide safety to them, and 30% of new vehicle sale in India will be all electric by 2030 is definitely a ambitious target Indian government has taken. So in consequent slides, I will put my thoughts on how this can be achieved, and what companies in India, automotive companies in India are doing, and what as Green Design we are doing to drive this ambitious target. Any questions? Can I move to next slide? I move to the next slide. So I have listed down several driving factors for EV adoption. So before that, I would like to just recap on what we have done so far. We have spoken about how big the automotive industry in India, right? And we have spoken about what is Paris Agreement, which has been signed in 2015, right? And we have spoken about how and what changes are brought into automotive industry in recent times. Right. Next, according to me, driving factors for EV adoption are four. First is sustainable power generation. So I feel there is no point in making sure everybody drives electric vehicle if we generate power through coal or fossil fuels, right? So at least Indian government recently has thought through, and in last, I would say 8 years, they have put a lot of effort to increase the percentage of renewable energy in overall power generation, right? You can see here a simple graph which explains from 2012 to 2047 what could be the projected percentage of renewable energies versus fossil fuel based energy generation, right? So why uh, uh, companies like Ford and Volvo, and for that matter, even Tata Motors is betting big on electric vehicles is because by 2022, 27, 2032, right, the renewable energy percentage will increase. I mean, the contribution of energy power generation through renewable energy, renewable sources will increase, right? That means we are moving towards a greener energy source, right? Because of which the carbon emission will eventually come down. Also, if we try to ensure we use electric vehicles, the distributed CO2 emission will come down to a narrow place where a small portion of energy is generated through coal or fossil fuels, right? So if they start now, if automotive industry starts now, it will take another 15 to 20 years for electric vehicles to get stabilized, and the cost of electric vehicle will become affordable probably in 2030. Hello, I'm hearing a noise. Hello.
Yes, sir.
You're audible,
Okay,
sir.
I'm hearing a background noise.
Sir, do
Right.
you have any questions? Sumit Chauhan, sir, do you have any questions to the speaker?
Okay, we'll continue. Right. Yeah, so this source is from Niti Aayog, and I think Niti Aayog is doing fantastic job in at least setting up what has to be the future of each and every industry, right? And they have this is again an ambitious target, but I'm pretty sure from 2012 to 2020 they have achieved the renewable energy target, right? And it is going to grow as well based on the government policies. So according to me, the first driving factor to adopt EV is a sustainable power generation. I think we are heading towards that in future. Second driving factor according to me is adequate government policies. So that the good example to this is China. So China has ensured they push electric vehicles into market through adequate government policies like subsidies. So all of us have to understand whenever there is a new industry coming up, government has to provide some subsidies to adopt it, because in people mind there is a price point set for any product, right? And when the industry is starting to grow, none of the companies would be able to make a product and sell it at a price point customer wants, right? Because the ecosystem of components has to be developed along with the industry, right? And until the ecosystem is developed, the cost of components will be very high, which cannot be affordable by the end customer. And companies like, let's say, Green Design cannot take a hit on I mean, they cannot take a hit on gross margin, because we cannot run the company otherwise, right? So adequate government policies has to be provided for adoption of any new technology which is good for environment, especially, right? So there are several policies announced by Indian government, right? One among it is something called FAME, which is abbreviation of faster adoption of electric vehicles, right? So this scheme, let me show you, just a minute, let me show you their website. Yeah. Okay, so this they have a separate website for FAME scheme, right? So they keep populating number of vehicles sold on a yearly basis, which has been subsidized in this scheme, right? FAME scheme, and which you can go to this website to understand in which state there is a better adoption of electric vehicles. You can see here that Karnataka is one among the states which has adopted EVs a lot, and second is Tamil Nadu, right? And this is a live data. So how this scheme works, I have to appreciate Indian government in this fact, in this implementation of FAME scheme, because uh, as soon as the OEM like us apply for the FAME scheme, for each vehicle we sell, there is a number generated and it is getting tracked in such a way that the company which gets that benefit has that account of how much subsidy has been transferred to the company, right? And how much carbon emission has been reduced by selling these many vehicles, right? So this has been one of the, I mean, great implementation from Niti Aayog, and for companies like us as well as any two-wheeler companies which are working on EV, this is a great scheme. So from my opinion, adequate government policies has been put in place as of now, but how people get benefited out of it has to be still explored, because number of vehicles sold uh, in this scheme is 74,422 till date, right? But Indian automotive industry is, I mean, selling 2 crores vehicles on a yearly basis, right? Whereas 74,000 EVs is very minuscule. It's not even 0.5%. So this is one of the factors to push EVs, but it cannot be the single factor because of which EVs will become blockbuster. Okay. Next is, according to me, is the thing to be fixed in electric vehicles is charging anxiety. Charging anxiety is nothing but you take an electric vehicle and start driving, but you always have a feeling that the charge will go off soon and you will get stuck in mid of the road or mid of the travel, right? And you don't have any place to go and refill it. Unlike petrol vehicles, you know that every 10 kilometers once you have a petrol bunk, and in city environment you might have it in every 2 kilometers. But in electric vehicles, you don't have an opportunity to go and refill it uh, 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 similar to petrol vehicles. So charging anxiety is something which has to be fixed in people's mind or the customer's mind to adopt electric vehicles, right? So in consequence slide, I will also tell you how I feel and Green Design feels and the entire automotive industry feels these issues can be fixed. And last driving factor for EV adoption is something called alternate energy storage. Currently, at least recently in last 2 to 3 years, all electric vehicles are using lithium-ion battery, right? And it's been proven technology that it can be charged in a fast charging mode, like within 1 hour you will be able to charge the vehicle, and you can have a range of almost 300 to 400 kilometers if it is a car, and if it is a two-wheeler you can have 60 to 70 or 100 kilometers in some two-wheelers, right? But the source for lithium is very limited, and it is not sustainable option to have a lithium-ion battery because it is not recyclable, right? Unlike lead-acid batteries, lithium-ion batteries are not recyclable. So considering all these factors, we are again going to use a lithium-ion battery which is not an infinite source. We will get stuck similar to how we got stuck now with fossil fuels, right? So I strongly feel that there is a need to develop an alternate energy storage device. It can be anything. It has to be researched and identified by companies like us or companies who are really involved and really feel that this is one of the blockers for electric vehicle adoption. So I will play a video of one of the concepts of alternate energy storage, which will give you an understanding of what I am talking about with respect to alternate energy storage. Okay, so this is one of the concepts which we have been thinking for almost some 3 years now to design an alternate energy source which can eliminate the charging anxiety as well as emulate the same behavior as how users are refilling their petrol scooters and cars, right? So as I mentioned, I believe this, sorry, the 4 driving factors should be, will be sustainable power generation, adequate government policies, charging anxiety, right, addressing charging anxiety, and alternate energy storage, right? So I want to share you one of the concepts which has been emerging, which is which we feel is a game changer for electric vehicles. Let me I will stop sharing for now and open that presentation and then reshare.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, yeah.
Is there any internship or project you are offering for the students, sir? In your firm?
Yeah, so we do offer internship program, and it is usually we take interns on summer time. I mean, there is an internship drive going on now, and we have almost selected for all postings.
Okay. May we know the norms and conditions? Okay, we'll check in the website, sir.
Not a problem. I think so. I will share you some information about internship by the end of this presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Karthikeyan sir.
Yeah.
With your experience, kindly say me what's the step the peoples or we the general peoples have to approach towards or how we have to progress towards your feature.
Okay. Can you? Okay. You progress towards. Can you repeat that, madam?
Generally we peoples we don't know about anything about if we want to promote our students, or we have to make research in your this way field, in the sense what are the guidelines you will be saying?
Right. So that's actually the next topic, right? I wanted to understand from. Okay, so let me put my thoughts. Okay, before I share the next presentation, I will put my thoughts in the questions. I mean, put my thoughts and answer your questions. Right. So, first thing, as I have mentioned, there are 4 important points to be attacked to adopt to increase the adoption of electric vehicle. Academia has to put their efforts in working with companies like us and any other automotive company to identify problems which they are facing. For example, we are struggling to figure out the alternate energy storage, right? So we need lot of people who can research and then figure out a efficient way to store energy, right? This is one of the examples. So they should be able to come out with solutions with a live prototype, right? So how energy can be stored other than how it is getting stored in current scenario, like lithium ion is an energy storage device, right? Can we figure out some other chemistry which can store energy, which has higher energy density, right? That's one of the areas academia can participate. Secondly, with respect to design, right? How a single component can be used for multiple purpose is one of the research academia can work with industries. The reason being, whatever we say to manufacture an electric car or IC engine, there are natural. I mean, there are kind of natural resources which gets used is unimaginable, right? For example, water, use of water and the use of any other material to manufacture or fabricate a printed circuit board is enormous, which I think if I go into detail, you will start feeling that you shouldn't buy any of the products available in the market, right? So the awareness of where academia can put their hands has to come based on the driving factors and policies set by government, right? And first thing I would suggest is there should be awareness that this is what the country is heading towards. This is the environmental policy. This is the policy in which academia can put some effort, because I have an expertise to implement this policy through my technology, right? So I would suggest that I think you can conduct multiple sessions like this and invite industrial people, I mean industries where you feel you have some technical knowledge, and ask students to participate in it. And interested students should be able to pick up certain topics and put their effort to resolve some problems industries are facing.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I'm taking a bit longer time to open that PPT. It's a heavy PPT, so it's getting late to actually open it. Meanwhile, if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Yes, sir. Can we get some mathematical designs? Like how we are, can we get some electrical EV mathematical design so that we can convey our students like that we can go ahead for designing electric vehicle like that? For this much of a Newton meter vehicle, how much of battery design should be like that, and charger like that we need inputs. Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Okay. So there are some thumb rules to figure out battery size and the motor size you can use, right? I will share some details. Probably I will share it with Dr. Malati. You can get the details.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Right. Okay. Let me share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to discuss about a white paper in the pretext that I wanted to explain how academia can get involved with companies like us, right? See, this is one of the white papers we have created along with one of our engineers and some academia collaboration, right? So this called an infinity charger, right? And the abstract here is so there is increase in global awareness for sustainable transportation, as I have also mentioned in my presentation, right? So when we have multiple electric vehicles, and you will end up in having multiple chargers to charge the electric vehicles, which is no brainer. I think all of us know that if you go to buy buy an electric two-wheeler, the charger you get cannot fit into the electric vehicle your friend buys, which is of different brand, right? That's a known thing, right? So we have taken this as a problem statement and have attempted to find out a solution by which a single charger can be used for charging different types of electric vehicles. So how, I mean, if you go back to 2000s, I mean 2000 to 2005 year, you know that mobiles has been released with different charging ports, right? And the Nokia charging port and the charger would be different, and the Samsung charging would be different. Especially Sony Ericsson has a unique chargers, right? And the charging port is completely different. So slowly, when industry got matured, you can now see that the charging port in mobile has been standardized, right? So that is how every industry grows. So we know that in electric vehicles, different electric vehicles have different chargers and different charging ports. Basically, the need for amount of current that has to be passed to the charger is different for each electric vehicle based on its battery capacity, right? So we have taken this as a problem statement to find out a solution. And as academia, you can work with us to do a research on any of such problem statement and come out with something called white paper, right? White paper is something internal to green design. You can submit the white paper, and we would be happy to take it up and then see if it can be implemented in the market, and all other terms and conditions can be discussed when we start these projects, this type of projects, right? So let me just navigate you through what we have done in this white paper. We have analyzed globally types of chargers available, right? I'm not talking about just Indian scenario. Globally, these are all the different types of chargers available, and it appeared that it is definitely inevitable to inevitable. That means every electric vehicle should have its own charger because of its power needs, right? Some way electric vehicle would like to charge faster. I mean, they would have designed it to charge faster than other electric vehicles. So you cannot use a 1 kilowatt charger in the vehicle which is expecting a 2 kilowatt charger, right? So, and the connectors would be different, completely different. Right. So we have started ideating on how these type of problems are solved in other industries. For example, you know that I mean, if you are used to older CPUs, you know that the RAM size can be increased by inserting additional RAM in a slot which is empty, right? So this is how it has been handled in PC industry, right? You buy a CPU and enhance the RAM whenever you need, right? That's one of the inspiration we got. Second is the construction of battery in a battery pack, especially lithium-ion battery pack, is like small unit cells are arranged in series and parallel to construct a big battery pack, right? And lithium-ion battery packs are not a single chunk of chemicals available in one package. Lithium-ion battery packs are multiple small cells, AA cells, arranged in series and parallel to achieve current and voltage requirements. So that's another inspiration which we have taken. Third is building blocks, right? Building blocks are something, I mean, if you have small blocks, you can put it together and make a big building block. So these three were the inspiration for us, and we have started creating a concept for something called modular charger, right? Why can't a power electronics device can be connected in series and parallel to enhance voltage and current, similar to how RAM has been enhanced, how building blocks have been used to build a big building, how batteries are used to AA batteries are used to build a higher capacity energy storage device. So we wanted to emulate the same in in charger as well. I mean, obviously, I mean, if any of you are from power electronics background, connecting two power electronics device in series is not a small thing, right? Load balancing will be a real challenge. And obviously we know the limitations, but we have taken it as a challenge to do research and figure out the feasibility of implementing it. The reason being, the problem statement is so big that once we crack it, it can be a solution for anybody across the world for any type of electric vehicle charging. Right, so we have, I mean, created, this is called mood board. Mood board is something, whatever there in your mind has to be replicated as a 3D image so that you can pass on the same information to engineers who are designing it. Then we have spent a lot of time in selection of charger topology. Yeah, I will not go into details of what we did in with respect to technical. This is just an example for you to understand how you can collaborate with companies like us. And the output of this collaboration is probably a prototype of what you see in the screen and the test results and a white paper which says how this can be converted into a full-fledged product. So we finally went, I mean, the LLC topology was the topology which we finally selected because of the efficiency we were able to achieve, as well as we were able to connect two small modules in parallel as well as series to enhance the voltage and current. And we have used, I mean, the module size was 1 kilowatts. The idea is if a person is buying let's say one electric car and one electric bike, they can buy only one charger, right, and enhance the capacity of charger by adding small modules into it rather than buying the big charger, one for car and another for two-wheeler. And you should also understand that when we move forward in this battery energy storage technology, there will be a necessity to enhance the power rating of the charger in future, right? At that point of time, it shouldn't be the case that you should dump all the chargers available in the market currently and then buy a new big charger which has higher capacity. So this concept and product will eliminate I mean, I would say it will reduce the waste which will be created when technology takes a leapfrog with respect to battery and energy storing technology. This means, I mean, let me put it in simple English. What I'm saying is this type of technology is what industries like us are expecting from academia, and the thought process of how technology can be converted into process and how it can be communicated to industries like us through a white paper like this is something which I am expecting from academia. Okay, any questions?
Participants, if you have any queries, you can ask Karthikeyan sir, or otherwise you can post in the chat box.
Yeah, okay. So let me ask a question. Anybody can answer. Okay, where should I post the question? Is there a place to where I can post the questions?
Sir. No, the extreme down, the extreme corner.
I have to type it as a message.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. how long does it take to charge a current available technology? Yes, that's the question. How long does it take to charge a EV battery with current available technology? Anybody would like to answer?
40 minutes, sir.
Acha, 40 minutes. Okay, where did you get that information?
In previous class.
That depends, sir. Fast charging technologies are available. So based on this converter circuit, the time can be varying, right?
Level
Yes,
3
yes.
charging. In level 3 charging, it would be 40 minutes, like that was sir told.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I will put my thoughts in this for this question. There are electric vehicles with batteries which can be charged in half an hour, right? So the main factor here is the acceptance of charge by the battery itself. So it's like when you push current beyond battery's capacity, battery starts heating up, right? As long as your technology and the cooling methods you use to cool the battery is capable of maintaining the battery temperature, you can actually charge the battery in 10 minutes, especially lithium ion batteries. So you probably would have seen recent advertisements for mobile phones which can be charged in 1 minute, right? So that technology is coming up. So since mobile battery is small, the heat emission is within its limit, but when it comes to electric vehicle, the battery is half of the size of car, right? For a car, the weight of the battery is half of the weight of the car itself. So in this case, the battery is too big and it emits heat, which is not controllable, right? If you try to put cooling system to control the battery, the power consumed by the cooling system might be
Karthik sir, you have muted. Karthik sir?
Yeah, hello?
Yes.
I was talking for a long time. I don't know up to what time you were able to hear me.
No, just few seconds more.
Okay. I mentioned
weight of the car and weight of the battery. Till that, we actually heard you, sir.
Okay. Oh, okay. Acha. Okay. So, for a car or a two-wheeler, the battery size is too big that the heat emitted while it gets charged is not controllable within its limit. So, especially in markets like India, where the price sensitiveness is too high in customers, you cannot provide a technology which can charge in 40 minutes or 1 hour, right? So if you walk into any electric vehicles in India today, right, the charging time is anywhere between 3.5 to 4 hours. That's the best case scenario, right? And we are hoping that with some new technology and R&D efforts from companies like us and other automotive companies, that we will be able to find some alternate sources, as well as the the battery swapping mechanism is something which is emerging, which you can Google and figure out what battery swapping is. Okay. Right. So somebody has been saying feedback link, please.
So that's from co-host or host.
Sir,
Okay.
we will provide the feedback link to them, sir, about this issue.
Okay.
That's a question posted to us, sir.
Okay.
For the question you have asked, some people have answered in the chat box.
Yes, I have seen that. Yes, yeah. Can we not use liquid cooling as prevailing in some of the CPUs for cooling the? Okay, I got your point. Ashish Kumar has asked, can we not use liquid cooling as prevailing in some of the CPUs for cooling the batteries? You mean some server-related CPUs are completely dipped in water to emit the heat, right? Yeah, so liquid cooling is one of the methods used in battery packs to cool. Currently, it is getting used in cars like Tesla EVs as well as in Tata cars. Also, you can figure out. I mean, you can find out that liquid cooling is used to cool the battery while it is charging, and it is effective. I wouldn't say it is effective, but as long as we know that we are using electric vehicles to preserve some carbon emission, we should have a technology which ensures that it consumes less power to operate the electric vehicles and provides most comfort to customers, like fast charging, right? If liquid cooling is good, as long as there is no fast charging in batteries. Okay. Just like water jackets in IC engines. Yeah, so see, in battery packs, each and every cell emits the heat. And there are, I mean, the way the positive and negatives are welded or to transform the heat from, I mean, transfer the heat from that point to the end. So it is slightly complex how the batteries are arranged inside the battery pack, right? I think if I will have to really check how water jackets are used in IC engines to comment on this point. But with respect to liquid cooling, I know currently all electric vehicle batteries except two-wheelers uses liquid cooling, and it is not a kind of efficient way of cooling because it doesn't enables the user to charge it fast. Yeah. So right. So internship. So every year we call for interns to join in green design. It either starts by first week of April or second week of April, right? And this year we are taking almost 12 interns, different colleges in and around Bangalore as well as in Tamil Nadu, and we have already filled all internship job openings. So you can keep watching our website. So I will anyway share that detail that you can get that job portal details link through which you can check when the internships are open.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
So the next era, instead of petrol pump, we'll be having charging station all over the roadside, like that we are studying, right? Is it compulsory to have the charging station in this for charging the vehicles instead? Why don't we have a small size of like cottage industry to charge the batteries? We can have it in like a small scale marketing. because using the if you consider this petrol, it is not possible because it is highly inflammable. So many other things are there. As far as this charging is concerned, if we can have rooftop solar panels in our home, we can charge as batteries. We can replace the batteries, like instead of charging, keeping the vehicle for a long time in a shed, right?
Right. That's a very valid point. Thanks for bringing it. So there is something called battery swapping, right?
Yes.
Battery swapping
Yes.
is you have to have two batteries, one battery in vehicle, one battery in charging, and whenever the battery charging is over, you have another battery which is charged. You can replace
Yes.
it, right?
Yes.
So there are
Yes.
2 points to be noted down. First, each battery will cost the user almost for a two-wheeler it will cost almost 20,000 rupees.
Okay.
Right. So if you have to have an additional battery, you will have to pay additional 20,000 rupees. Right.
Yeah, understand. Half of the cost is battery only. Yes.
Yes, correct. That's a big challenge. Second, it is always better to have batteries in vehicle because we are not, as a country, we are not kind of disciplined enough to have a dedicated battery which is kept outside the vehicle and save it, right? Keep it safe.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, usually kids will be around, and we are not a country who have, I mean, in our type of environment, we don't have a place to park the vehicle itself, right?
Yes.
So there are several. So these two are the major challenges. Especially infrastructure is not up to the mark, as I mentioned. Secondly, it is costly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So can we design for present fuel-filled vehicles in that vehicles? I think somebody has to mute. I'm getting a echo. Okay.
Yeah, you can proceed, Pa.
Yeah.
So one more question posted in chat box.
Yes. Can we design for present fuel-filled vehicles in that vehicles only can't be modeled instead of again manufacturing all accessories of vehicles? See, I think this is called retrofitting, right? See, every IC vehicle is meant for a particular lifetime, right? Beyond that, it is unsafe to use, right? You will not be able to clearly see the damages vehicle has because it is painted and neatly packed, right? Especially the metallic parts has to be recycled every 10 years, right? In except India, there is a recycle policy for automobiles all over the world, and I mean, if you know, last year India also announced recycle policy, right? So converting fuel vehicle, I mean IC engine vehicle to electric vehicle is possible, but it will be more costlier than you buying a new electric vehicle, and the maintenance will be more because IC engine vehicles are not designed to work with electric motor and battery. So it is not appropriate and it will not be cost effective for you to buy a vehicle which is retrofitted.
Okay.
Yeah. For temporary purpose, I mean, for example, if you don't use the vehicle daily, then it is okay to have a retrofit vehicle. That's not going to harm you. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, or we can, Madam, we can wind up the meeting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think no more questions. I think Karthikeyan has given a clear speech and have clarified the doubts of the participants. If no doubts, we'll wind up the session. I hope participants have no questions.
Okay, great then. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate your time.
Okay, I extend my thanks to Mr. Karthikeyan, who came over here. I know the condition of Karthikeyan sir have accepted my application and came over here to present his valuable speech, his experience. One of the person from the industry. Thank you very much, Karthikeyan. Thank you for your speech.
Nice meeting all of you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Participants, please wait. We will be posting the feedback link. Please wait.
Madam, I can sign off?
You can sign off. No problem.
Yeah.
So the feedback form has been posted. Dear participants,